Hey everybody, RedWolfVion here with another overview video. Today's star is the Gundam Unit 5 BST. BST currently is not in the pool. Of course, this can change within months or next year or so. Now let's jump into it. If you saw our Gundam 5 overview, you'll get an idea of it since it's very similar outside of the melee range. But let's start with the whole kit and arsenal. You can switch between the Hyper Bazooka or the Hyper Beam Rifle. Now, where it changes drastically here is the Beam Saber Further Enhanced. Now, this dual Beam Saber Further Enhanced, the move set is really fun. I love it to death. It makes a very good addition, but of course I was going to say, elephant in the room here, you don't have a shield, so you have to be very careful. You have your head mounted Vulcan, which is pretty much the same. You have your giant Gatling gun, which however your ammo and your power to your Gatling gun is actually dumbed down a little bit, about 25 or so. So be very careful. The Gatling gun isn't as potent, and you don't want to stand as constantly still with your Gatling gun as much as you did before, because you don't have a shield to help protect you. And your beam gun unit is the same. It's a really good unit, so make sure you use it whenever you get the chance, or to mix up and stuff like that. For all intents and purposes, I'll probably stick with the Hyper Beam Rifle for this overview, but I actually switch between the Hyper Beam Rifle and the Bazooka. It depends what kind of mood I'm in. So let's jump into it. The skills we have: high performance balancer, high spec MBAC. You have the melee combo controller 2, of course. You have emergency evasion level 1, of course. Your force injector, your flight control program, which is really fun to play with. I love this. Your high performance radar and your maneuverable armor level 2, which is really good for you when moving onto supports who are trying to gun you down, because you will have pretty much super armor while dashing when it comes to ranged attacks. So use that to your advantage. Again, you might want to do something a little different because this suit does not have a shield. As far as builds, you'll see here I have added thruster gauges here. I've added a little bit of melee strength, beam resistance, and melee resistance as well. Now you can always switch this out, but when it comes to trying to be that much closer to my enemies, I prefer to have a little bit more melee resistance. So if a general topples me, they don't kill me in 1 or 2 combos. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I have the precision focusing ring on this particular loadout, so I can just field something. Sometimes you want to have things up priority, but since you don't have a shield, you could probably switch it out for HP, the head armor, something like that. So keep that in mind as well, guys. Another build you could also try, a more defensive build, is where you pull back on your thruster gauge and go a little bit more on your anti-beam and anti-melee armor with a little bit of thruster control. As you saw, again, the first set loadout I had thruster control level 3. This is a suit that you can build it however way you want. Granted, you have a lot of close range part slots. You don't have a lot of long range part slots, so be very careful when it comes to custom parts. But these are the builds I'm using for this suit currently, and I'm always switching stuff up and trying different things. So let's hop into the combat, shall we? Switching over to combat here, you have your main ranged weapon, of course, the Hyper Beam Rifle, sent to be expected. It doesn't have the best cooldown with it. You shoot 2 times, it's going to overload. It does a decent amount of damage. Sometimes I switch to rocket launcher, sometimes I don't. The Beam Saber Further Enhanced, however, you got your left slash, your right slash, your forward slash, and it's the standard dual beam with the cool little lunge. Now the lunge definitely looks like it comes out a little slow, but be very careful. I still like using it to cut corners, because that's just who I am, and sometimes it's fun to bait people to do that if you can manage, but the range is questionable. You have your Vulcans, and you have your Gatling gun. Now remember I said be careful with the Gatling gun. You're still going to have to be careful with the Gatling gun. Similar, if you get a couple of shots, probably about 20 or so shots off, you'll actually do a quick flinch, allowing you to kind of waste more time shooting them unless they have enemies. I'll say if you see that flinch and you're getting rushed, you might want to pull back. Be very mindful of that. This suit is a variant of BST, of Unit 5, so be very, very, very careful thinking you can play them exact same. Again, the strength, personally for me, from Unit 5 was the abilities, the Gatling gun, and the shield going prone. But now you won't have that luxury. So play a little bit smarter. I think you definitely want to try doing your combos close range a lot more, especially with these beam sabers here. You have your standard stagger into melee combos and your beam gun, which is your beam gun unit is amazing. Make sure you use that. Another thing I do like about the suit is you have the beautiful emergency evasion. Now that's something you should always use. I beat myself up because I don't use it as much as I believe I should, but to each their own. Now I'll say the best thing for you to do is check out some videos of me playing with the Unit 5 BST, because it's not all that different to me outside from the melee range and not having a shield. You're taking a nerf on your Gatling gun for the beam sabers and losing your shield. Mind you, you do have the dopest of dope abilities, which I like doing with the BST units, is having the flight control system. You can maneuver back and forth mid-air or while you're dropping, so you can definitely bait enemies into doing some very, very silly things. In some cases you can kind of walk backwards off a cliff expecting them to look down at you, and you can kind of bait their target zone and, you know, go ham after that, because it's a really, really cool suit to be able to dash back and forth left and right. That's probably why you see me use my thrusters a little bit more, so I can get some more mobility. I can't speak today, guys, I swear. I want more mobility for this suit and what it can do. So hopefully it won't be too long to bring it to the pools, but we'll see. Just be very careful if you do have this suit. It's a really fun suit, but it's very squishy. Guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Again, this is definitely more of a variant suit. It's not like a full new suit, so that's why I didn't want to break down any details like that. Guys, we're so close to 5K subscribers. I'm excited. Hopefully we can make that before the end of the year. I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. Please, please, please be safe if you're going out Black Friday for any reason. If you're not, you're just chilling, you know what? Enjoy yourself. But guys, thanks for checking this out again. I love you guys. You're all awesome, and I'll see you next time. Peace.